Hello, hello. Welcome back to Dream Queen. Perla here. Alrighty. And I'm like, I know what you guys are going through. I'm feeling it, trust me, and I am working as diligently and as much as I can to help shift this energy because I am aware of what everyone is feeling. So again, if you have any questions as to what it is that I do, how I do it, and everything else down in the description. I wanted to just touch base with you guys because, I have mentioned in the past here and there of how about spiritual warfare. And I know that I haven't made a lot of, information about it. I'm still trying to see how I'm going to share that information as to what it is that goes on. And it's not something that, I'm not sure if it's something that you can teach other people to do, to be 100% honest with you. It is something that I've been doing for years and years and years, and I was never aware of what it was that I was doing. I just know that I was woken up at certain times, not realizing what those times meant or what was happening during those times. And I would wake up with this urge to pray, not just for myself, but for everyone. And I remember like when I wouldn't, certain things would just kind of like, I would just kind of like, I couldn't go on with my day basically because it was like my soul was pushing me to intervene for everyone else. And I really didn't get it. So it took some time to understand exactly what was going on because whenever I spoke to anyone, nobody really had an understanding of what was going on. So to make a a long story short, I'm like twisting my words, and it's because of what is happening, and I feel like that is what is happening with a lot of the things right now, and that's why a lot of people are not either understanding things or not seeing clearly and are just in a lot of confusion. So if I am not mistaken, because I'm not good with dates or days of the week, it was Monday into Tuesday. I woke up and I was like, oh my God. And I immediately, and I'm not going to disclose their name because I'm not sure if they want to. If they do, they will post and let you know who they are. This has been something that these type of like spiritual warfare I have been doing for years by myself. And I would always, ask God, like, when is it that I'm going to meet like these people that are supposed to be doing this with me? And, message came to me and I reached out to one. And I was like, and we talk all the time and she gets me. Like I say something and she just gets it. She has the words for me. Like I tell her everything that I do and she has names for everything that I do. And I love her very dearly. And I was talking to her and I was telling her, I was like, this is what we need to do. And without hesitation, she was like, okay, I'm on. And so she went ahead and reached out to the other person that was it. So we are in different time zones, which, two of us are in the same time zone and one is an hour behind us, which is amazing because we started, so we initiated, and I wasn't exactly sure what it was that was going on. And, when I woke up from the dream, and it's more of a sense that I got from the dream. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that was revealed to me, but I can't think of it right now. I think I shared it with the person when I was on the phone, and I think it was just for their ears to hear, if I'm not mistaken. So the whole point was that I started talking, and I was like, this is like the time frame that we have to be doing whatever it is that we uniquely do to interfere with, whatever you choose to call them, spirits, demons, or entities, or negative energies, whatever it is that you feel comfortable using. And I told her, I was like, it has to be like from one day to the other. And I'm explaining to her about like this, and she was like, do you know anything about like the watch time? And I'm like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. So she goes ahead and she starts to explain to me. So there are different times of the day where, so if we go into the Bible, there's different times of the day where you're to pray for certain things, to help with certain, whether it's deliverance or, you know, whatever it is. And again, I'm still working on getting all that information so that I can try and get everybody to understand. But there's also, during those periods of watch time is when the negative is basically, so between, I believe if I'm not mistaken, it's 9 to 12, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I have all of that written and I don't have that out right now. Is when preparations are being made, and between 12 and 3 a.m. is when plans are being put into action. So if we think about, you know, we think about witchcraft, I understand that a lot of people do not have the correct understanding. So everything that we do and how we harness the energies and where our messages come from can come either from a negative or a positive place. So that's why I always say that we have to be very careful with the things that we're allowing inside to resonate with us, and the things that we're allowing into our energy space. So let's just say if witchcraft in a particular instance is being used in a negative way to harm or hurt somebody else, they start to make their preparations between 9 p.m. and 12 a.m. And between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. These preparations are put into actions. So the calling that was for that day was to be actively intervening between one day to the next. And it was up to the individual that was intervening what they had to do. So I go ahead and, you know, I reach out, everybody agrees. It was 3 of us that we were going to do this. And as I am preparing and, you know, doing the things, I had this breakdown moment where I just cried, and I literally ended up on the floor, and I was just crying and crying and crying and crying. And I'm like, and as I'm getting up, my male dog, now I'm always talking about my Z now, my female, she is always like head on front, like she's sensitive. She is knocked out on the freaking couch. I'm sorry, I just moved the phone. She's knocked out on the couch. My male dog comes literally and stands right in front of me and just starts barking and growling. And as I finish getting up, when I'm completely up, he goes ahead and he lays at this point and just watches me as I start doing my part in it. And as I'm going and 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 I'm going, and you know, I remember before I started, I was like, okay, well, how am I supposed to know that I am done? You know, when I'm supposed to stop? Because like I said, you know, it could have, you know, you could have gone 10, 20 minutes, whatever it is, but I started, and when I was led to stop, I was led to stop. So the funny thing was, 3 of my kids actually, my 3 youngest, were all born in the same year. My girls ended up falling asleep in my bed, and so did my son, my 9-year-old. So I'm doing this and I'm fighting this, and you know, at that point when I had the cry and my male dog came forward, my buster, I knew that it was the masculine energy that were being under attack at the moment because of what was coming, you know, because they had to wake up, and we'll get into that. So I am, you know, going and going and going and going, and my son sits up and he's like, I'm awake. I'm like, what do you mean? And I mean, if you meet this child is like unlike any other child that I have. He is himself 100%. He has no filter like his mama, and he stands his ground, even if he has to stand it against me. And he is... let's just say he's been here many times before, or he's very connected with his our generational DNA, because this kid knows things that blow my mind. So I come into my room and I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm awake. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, but I want to go to my bed. And I'm like, okay, let's go. So he stands up and he ends up in the living room in the couch. And I'm like, what are you doing? I thought you were going to your bed. He's like, not yet. Not yet. And he's like, you know, I'm tired of sleeping with these girls. I'm so tired. I just want to be in my bed, my home, my bed, my home. And I'm like, what girls? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you barely ever end up in the same couch or section of the couch with your sisters. Because, you know, they're 10 months apart. And he just kept repeating that. And he was like, I'm so freaking confused. And then I'm like, okay, I'll walk you to you. But he's like, not yet, not yet. And I'm like, well, you let me know. And I go back into the kitchen and he's like, Mom. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm ready. And I go ahead, and as I'm walking to the living room to help him into his room, he's like, literally, like, he just gets up, goes into bed, and whoosh, passes out completely. And I'm like, oh, wow. So then I go ahead, and the next morning I'm like, so what was up last night? He's like, what are you talking? I'm like, well, you fell asleep in my bed, and you woke up and you were kind of acting strange. He was like, Mom, I was in my bed the whole night. I'm like, so he has no recollection of what happened, but it was quite a beautiful experience for me. So immediately after this happened, within less than 24 hours, I started seeing all these videos on YouTube about people talking about the masculine awakening, the masculine going through a rebirth, or the masculine, like, moving forward and things like that. So I need to make something very clear to everyone. So if we look at the word like rebirth as a noun, so if we break it down, so re is to go back to an original place, back to the beginning. And to birth, one of the definitions as a noun is to come into existence. So they are being rebirthed. So they're coming into the knowing of who they truly are, of who their soul is. So if you look at the word awakening, is the act of waking from sleep, an act or movement of becoming suddenly aware of something. So this is what I want my beautiful DFs out there to understand. Just because the masculines have awakened. Oh, and I also wanted to mention, it was quite funny because as I was going through my day on Tuesday, I kept encountering men that I associate with normally, like when I go to the gas station, people that I know, like, guys that I normally see when I go to the dog park. And it was funny because in between the time frame that we were fighting this actual spiritual war, these men that are connected with me, that I actually have like profound conversations about life and everything else, were all awake and couldn't understand why. And some of them had this urge to cry and let it out. Some of them had the urge to cry and suppressed it. But it was just, and some of them still have the urge to cry and still haven't. And you know who you are because I know you watch my channel. And I told you it's coming, so you're going to release this, so don't worry about it. So it was, that the beautiful experience is how God, source, universe, whatever relates to you, show me exactly what I have been doing all these years, and how I was so busy with my own personal problems that even though I was still coming forth and fighting these battles, I really didn't understand. I didn't have an understanding of what I was doing. So, I want all the DFs to take a step back. Think about your awakening. Think about your rebirth. You went through periods, and this is not to say that their process is going to take as long as yours, or it's going to be half as short, or whatever it is. I just want you to understand the concept of what's going on. Because yes, we are connected. So us being aligned and us doing the work in us and on ourselves does help them go through this process faster. But I still need you to understand, because we get excited, we start getting ready for union, and then we start to slip away from what is really important. And the importance of this is each other, like all of us as a collective, and not just you and your DM coming into union. If that was the case, I wouldn't be doing a channel, because I could care less. But it is not about myself and my DM. It is about me, yes, me, I said that word, my DM, and all of us as a collective, because we all have something to bring to the table, right? So then you go ahead, and I want you to take a second when you're listening to these messages of people saying, that the masculines are awakened and the masculine are, whether rebirth or rising like a phoenix, whatever words they want to use, I really don't care. Remember how it was for you. So you're coming into something new. You're seeing the light. when babies are born, usually it takes them a couple of minutes to open their eyes. They cry when they are gasping for their first breath, and all of these things. So as they're in this energy, what is fighting them still? Their ego, right? So he can reach out one day and speak from his soul, and then 3 days later, his ego starts to intervene, and his ego is going to say things or act in ways to try to trigger you. And this is where I want everybody to really pay attention. What is happening at the moment, and this is my opinion, and you don't have to agree with it, this is what was shown to me. What is happening at the moment with the masculine and their DF, when he does or says something to trigger you, you are to take a second and take a step back and see if this is an actual trigger that relates to you, or if this is the interference that has been going on to set you back so that you can quickly react and restart a cycle that you guys just finished. And I hope everybody got that part of it. Because not everything that he is saying or doing is directed to your alignment. Because right now, in that body of his ego and his soul are battling. Because his soul has been revealed to him and his ego does not want to give up the space. So please, if you're not understanding the concept, or you're not you're not understanding whatever freaking words you want to use, I really couldn't care less, then literally just text so that you can take a couple of minutes to think about it. If you cannot at the moment, if you're face to face with him, or if you're on the phone with him, you cannot take a second in your head, because you don't have to say it verbally. You will like he'll say something, you will and think about how you're gonna, respond back. Because we just came out, and I say we because I'm part of the collective, of a cycle, and we're moving into a new one. But if we allow these energies, entities, demons, whatever you want to call them, to interfere with the work that we have done in ourselves and to set that doubt, you are going to restart the cycle. And I don't give a damn how much work you have done. You will be restarting the same freaking cycle you just came out of. And you may not like to hear that, because then you're thinking, oh, I'm not saying that you're never going to be into union, because this is the problem. We get messages and we receive whatever the hell we want to receive. I am responsible for what I'm saying, not for what you're listening to or what you hear that is coming out of my mouth. If you do not become aware of your actions and how you are reacting versus responding to the things or the words that are coming out of your DM, the cycle that you just came out of, whether it had been 6 months, 3 months, 10 years, whatever long it took you to get out of the cycle, you are going to get back into it. So be very aware of your verbal communication, whether it is in person, whether it's through text or whatever, with your DM. And I really honestly do, I pray and I hope that everyone is, trying to at least be more aware. Because I understand about the alignment and about, our counterpart. But we also have to understand that not every time it is about our alignment. If you know you have done the work, if you know you have healed that part, then you should be able to know and feel that whatever is going on at the moment, it is his ego and his soul going head to head. Okay? I really do hope that this message helps everyone. I have no idea what I'm gonna call this video, but I did want to. There was a song that I was driving the other day with the kids in the car, and the girls. I had never heard the song. I don't know why. And I swear to God, most of the songs, like that are like for me or whatever usually come from my daughters. I know, right? So I guess, I don't know if this is from like a game or a show. Don't ask me because I don't know. And I'm pretty sure somebody's going to know. So if you do know, please comment below. I love knowledge. The song is Twisted Imagination by NerdOut. And the verse that I really like pulled me, like as I was driving, I was like, whoa, wait. And I just like looked at the girl from like the rear side mirror and I'm like, oh my God. Thank you, girls. Is my twisted imagination. And then in parentheses, like she goes into like nation. And then she says, yeah, or they, whatever the hell. I don't know how many girls saying this. It's more than you'll understand. This mind knows no limitations. And then in parentheses, tation. Yeah, got nothing holding me back. And then the song goes into, you know, they've been trying to keep me silent and like all of that, and how like it's really an amazing song. If you do choose to listen to it, I definitely advise you reading the verse. So if we look at the word imagination, it's a concept of external objects not present to the senses. So our imaginations literally take us to those places where with our in our 3D world, and when we set, you know, those limits, we are not able to feel, see, sense, hear the things that are constantly around us. So and then I like it how she says nation, because it's like it's a large party of united people united by descent, history, culture, or language, etc. And then when she says like, you know, this mind knows no limitation, and then in parentheses it says tation. Like tation is the a request to be present or take part in something. And limitation is limiting rules or circumstances or a restriction. So we have to understand that everything that comes out from different people it really depends on where they are within their own journey, and what has been revealed to them, and how much they actually allow God, source, or universe to use them. You know, there are going to be souls that are not going to dive into the battling the darkness or experiencing that side, because that is not what they were meant here to do. So when I say something, they might not relate. You know what I'm saying? So all I am trying to, I guess what I'm trying to bring everyone is that not everything that has to be known is known by not one person. I don't give a damn how sure you are, how high your ego is. There is always something to learn, something new to experience. We have to go into this journey knowing that things will be revealed to us as we are able to handle them and as they need to be revealed. Well, guys, that is all I have for you on this topic for tonight. I am going to go and watch some movies. No, the kids and I decided we're going to have like a date movie night, of course. We have to stay home because of the dogs. We can't bring the dogs to the movie theater. So, either way, we could just like lay down and like fall asleep, which is what I do anyways. So I am going to go and spend some time with my kiddos, and I'll probably hop on later and see what comes through. Bye-bye, guys. See you soon. Oh, I did want to say thank you, guys. The comments that you guys have been writing, literally like the emails that I have received. the compliments, everything, honestly, like, I am just trying to do what I feel that I have to do for all of us. I am walking through this journey with you guys, because even if we're not battling the same things at the at the moment, I am still battling things just like everyone else. I just allow myself to feel why these these things are coming, because I no longer want to be stuck in that place of fear all the time, because I have fear just like everybody else does. I don't allow it to come to me anymore. I go to it like, oh, I see you. Hi. Can you move aside, or do I have to like knock you over so I can go forward? So I don't want anyone ever to think that I don't struggle and that I don't have my own battles. I struggle and I have my own battles, and in an essence, this is why I guess things go the way they do with the channel, because there's a lot of different things that I do for all of us that are not always done on camera. Yes, having the gift to be able to do readings and to do things the way that I do them is amazing, but that is not the only thing that I am here to do for, again, all of us. Because as I dive into these things, it helps me understand more and more of pieces of the puzzles. I keep saying puzzles. I love puzzles. Like I do crosswords. I do word search. I think it's Sudoku, the number thing, when you put the numbers, have a couple, that thing. Anything that is going to challenge me, basically, I love to do. So I'm not surprised that I have so much to do in so many different departments of this journey, because that is just, I guess, how I'm wired. And, it's a privilege to connect with all of you. And I do want to say, if anybody emails me and I don't get back to you right away, it's not that I'm ignoring anybody. There are times, like, even if I want to go check my email, something tells me, like, wait. And I just listen and I wait. So just be aware of that. And I do read all the messages, like all the comments right away. I don't always comment back right away, because again, I like to have, in anything that I do, I like to have my attention 100% focused, like my energy and everything, and what it is that I'm doing, because that's how I want. That's how I am. That's how I've always been, and that is like what I give out, because it is what feels right to me. So again, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye. Love you guys.